Getting direct to landlord or direct to vendor. How do you do this? Now, one of the most common ways, and still one of the most effective ways, is through leafleting. So you could be leafleting hundreds or thousands of leaflets every month in your chosen investment area. Though you may not get a call straight away, some people actually do hold on to your leaflets and call you at a later date. So a personal example, I had someone drop about 3,000-4,000 leaflets, and someone called me with a very good deal, but he held on to my leaflet for about 8 months, and 8 months later, when he was ready to actually sell his property, he got in contact with me. So leafleting is definitely still one of the key ways of getting direct to vendor. It has its pros and it also has its cons. One of its cons is the fact that if you're leafleting to a property that's tenanted, the tenants may see it as junk mail and throw it away amongst the other leaflets that they receive. Another con is if it's an empty property that's marketed by an estate agent and they see the leaflet before the vendor does, they're not likely to give it to the vendor. They're going to throw it away because they will feel like you're interfering in their business. Another way of getting direct to vendor or landlord is through your bandit boards. So if you have a property that you're currently carrying out a refurb, or even a tenanted property, I would recommend to always put a bandit board on the window, letting people know what you want and what you are looking for. So if you're looking for properties to purchase, it should say, "We buy houses." If you're looking for rent-to-rent HMOs or serviced accommodation, it should say, "We guarantee your rental income." So this way, as people drive past or walk past, they can see what you do and what you're looking for. So if you deal with your tenants privately without an agent, and you notice that the potential tenant says that they're looking for a new place because their landlord is selling or looking to sell, that's an opportunity for you to get a direct to vendor deal. So what you want to know is their previous address, and if that road or the properties on that road meet your investment criteria, you can try and speak to the tenant and try to get the details of the landlord and contact them first as a reference, and then moving on to knowing why they want to sell their property, and then you can go in and make an offer and potentially get a direct to vendor deal. What is a joint venture and how does it work? A joint venture, also known as a JV, is when two parties or more come together for one common goal. In terms of property, it would be for the purchase of a property. Ideally, what usually happens is someone's got a property deal that's really good and they don't have the funds, and then they partner with somebody who has the funds but can't find a property deal. So it's a perfect match, and they come together and usually form an SPV, which means special purpose vehicle, which is simply a limited company for the purpose of purchasing property. Now, when you're doing a JV, a joint venture, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a 50-50 split. I mean, it's the common thing. So if someone's got a property deal, someone's got the funds for the property deal, ideally it makes sense to go 50-50. But there isn't one way of doing a JV. It can be 40-60, it can be 30-70. It depends on the terms that you and party B agree on. Another way in which you can joint venture is what I call the one for me, one for you. So what happens here is you have person A and you have person B. So you purchase one property and that belongs to person A, and then when you go on and purchase the second property, it belongs to person B. And you can keep doing this until you reach your end goal. So if your end goal is to purchase 10 properties, you will know that on the 10th property, 5 will belong to person A and 5 will belong to person B. A JV works on all strategies. So again, if you're purchasing a property, someone will put the funds in and someone will have the great deal. You can JV on a rent to rent in the same way. For a HMO, for example, someone will find the great deal, the cash flowing deal, and another person will put the funds in while the person A would manage it and keep the HMO running. The same thing with serviced accommodation. You find a good property that will be used for serviced accommodation. Person B will put in the funds and you will operate the business and split the profits 50-50. You could even JV if you're deal sourcing. So you could have a property deal that you found and want to sell, but you may not necessarily have a good list of investors, and you now partner with person B, who is also a deal sourcer, and they bring in the investor, and you can split the profit from the property source 50-50 or whatever terms you decide to agree. Doing a JV with somebody that's more experienced than you gives you the opportunity to learn property investing and also grow quickly, because while you're doing a JV with them, they're going to be showing you and teaching you key things that you wouldn't learn anywhere else. So for example, if you're now JVing with somebody that's more established and been investing in property for a long time, they're most likely going to have a great power team, builders, solicitors, brokers, who are able to get things done quickly. Now, once you've JV'd with them on 1 or 2 deals, you're most likely going to have access to their power team, which allows you to also grow quickly and complete on deals quickly. When doing a JV, having a legal contract in place is so important. This protects you as person A and also protects person B. Now, we don't aim for something to go wrong or something to not go as planned, but if it does, you want to be protected as person A and you want person B to also be protected. So if something does go wrong, you have to go back to the legal document to see what happened in this instance. As a property investor, you need to have a power team that are quick and ready to go once you have a property deal in place. The first person you need is a mortgage broker. You need an experienced mortgage broker who is familiar with many lenders and who is able to get you the right package that you need for your property deal. So that's someone that's able to get you a long-term lending, which is a mortgage, or something short-term such as bridging finance if you're using the buy, refurbish, refinance strategy. You need a solicitor in your power team for all the legal matters. So you need someone that has time for you and someone that's well experienced in property. So specifically, you need a property solicitor. You need a solicitor that understands the different property investment strategies. So somebody that knows what a lease option is and somebody that understands rent to rent, so they can put the right contract in place. Of course, you need to have builders on your power team who will carry out the refurb and the maintenance before and after your properties are tenanted. If you're looking for builders in your local area or investment patch, speak to other investors that you know have used certain builders in that area, and they will probably give you an indication of who's good and who to avoid. Last but certainly not the least, estate and letting agents. You need to have estate and letting agents in your power team. So once you've built a relationship with an estate agent or agents and you've got that rapport with them, they're likely to send you a list of properties that meet your investment criteria. Also, if you're carrying out a flip project, you're going to need estate agents to market and sell your property. Now, if you're buying and holding to build a property portfolio, you're going to need a letting agent who's going to let and manage your property and take care of the maintenance issues. They can also be on the lookout for you for properties that meet your investment criteria.